Welcome to another episode of Awakening Women's Wisdom, the podcast where we have conversations with women of diverse backgrounds to hear about how they weave conscious grace, which is kindness, compassion, and thoughtfulness, into their daily life, and a little bit of wisdom that they've learned along the way. I'm Rebecca.
Hi, and I'm Laurine. Welcome back to Awakening Women's Wisdom. I'm really excited about this guest today. I love this woman. We met a long time ago in North Carolina at a leadership program, and we've been friends ever since. This is Melanie Scott. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Please tell us about yourself.
That's such an interesting question. Tell us about yourself. Normally, here's how I would say, honestly, at my soul, who am I? I'm a seeker. And I am just so in love with learning things and personal growth and development and using my gifts and talents and sharing that. And so there's a lot of different things I do in the world to generate income, to generate fun. But ultimately, at my core, who am I? I'm a seeker.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I like that.
It's true. It's so simple. I think there's so much energy we put on what do you do for work? Or what do you do? And it's all these boxes, and that's fine. But for me, it's I'm so much more than that, and it's complicated. So it's easier for me just to be I'm a seeker.
I'm going to borrow that, I have to say, because I talk about that. I've got a filter. Everything goes through that filter of spiritual perspective. And I don't know how to not have that happen. So I love that. I'm a seeker.
Yeah. And we're your soul, what's your soul been up to? What's lighting you up? It's so funny because sometimes when I do read the room, if I'm in a certain situation, people are what do you do for work? So I will respond and but even among people like yourselves, when I meet people, I was at a retreat and she said, what do you do? I said, we can go in there, but let me just tell you who I am. And you can tell even her, it just gives kind of this reframe of
yes,
who are you?
That's a huge one. And you answered that question at a beautiful depth. And to be honest, I've never met anybody who doesn't like Melanie. Everybody loves Melanie.
I'm sure there are a couple of people who don't.
No, everybody loves Melanie. So having said that, and you've already introduced yourself so beautifully, I'm going to ask you another deep question, or let's go deeper.
I love it. I'm a Scorpio. I'm how deep can we go,
Let's do it. How has your relationship with yourself evolved over time?
The thing that truly has been the gift of a lifetime is for me really getting to know myself. And I have a much more complex story that Laurine knows all about. And just for time wise, I don't know that it's that we have the time to even talk about it. That's a whole conversation in itself. But if you follow astrology, it was my Saturn return. I did not know it at the time, but I sort of woke up and was I have all of these things that I should have, but something's missing. And so basically I went on this whole journey. I ended up in Italy. I sold my house. I quit my job. It was a very eat, pray, love moment. And I don't recommend that for other people, but for me, because I am so intense and deep and need this huge shakeup, Italy was the hardest 15 weeks of my life because it was me on me. And the gift of it is that I began to experience who I was. And that then started I don't know, what's been probably almost 20 years of unlearning, unconditioning, peeling back and getting to know myself deeper. And now today I'm at a place where I have a good grasp of her, and I'm always learning. I'm always uncovering. I'm always, deconditioning. So.
Well, I think it's absolutely beautiful to hear you talk about that, because I think that a lot of us are either choosing or finding life is bringing us to a point where we do need to peel back layers and see things more clearly. Yeah. And maybe you could share a little bit about that process of noticing a layer and how you can feel comfortable walking through that, because a lot of people find that uncomfortable or fearful or impossible.
I mean, it's very uncomfortable. And frankly, that's the reason why so many people don't move through. They stay in a box. And I'm pretty sure I did not come up with this quote, but I've been saying it for a while. Like that to me, like discomfort is the catalyst for change. Like
Yes.
the only way you're gonna grow is to experience that. And we are so conditioned from a very young age to resist anything that's not comfortable. And so I think you almost have to lean into it and be up for it. And there are varying degrees. Like I always say, like my way of doing it was very extreme. Like it's not for everyone, you know? But if you could just get a little bit of like, huh, this doesn't feel like me. Like whenever there's like resistance or friction in our life, I always look at when things are glitching, it's like, huh, okay, what's not working here? Like, right? And if I put that mirror on myself with some stone cold truth and like really look at it, I'm like, okay, let's look at this. Maybe this is something that we need to like peel back and kind of explore. And so yeah, that's I don't even know what your question was to be honest, but that's what like it's small baby steps of like noticing. And I always say glitching in the reality because to me that's the way that's always my mirror. Like when things are when I'm not feeling really like myself. And again, I've done a lot of work on this. So if you would have asked me 20 years ago, I don't know what my answer would have been. It just would have been like, just honestly, my answer 20 years ago would have been like working with various healers and working with astrology and working with things that I used to get to know myself. And once I was like, oh, okay, so this is who I am. And then seeing like maybe this is how I was raised and what I was conditioned and like seeing like the incongruence and then being like, okay, I get it. So now how can I express more of this that is me and like release with love that part of me that needed to be accepted by my family or needed to be loved by my family or whatever that is, you know?
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You're
Yes.
just constantly evolving and constantly growing and constantly learning and shifting and changing. That's beautiful. What wisdom are you working on right now? What are you in the process of learning?
Okay. So this is what I was excited, you know, and the truth is like when I saw that on the question, I'm like, I don't know, do I say that? Because you know, when you're in something and you're really going through it, like it's interesting to talk about it because I'm like, I don't know. Like you asked me in 2 weeks, I could be like, no, that was a terrible idea. You know, like I don't know. But I have been
And that's
really
okay.
exactly. So I have been looking at, so I've been really diving deep into the world of manifesting.
Mm.
And
For
I've
you-
always, what's
for,
that?
for years, you've been working on that.
Exactly. And but here's the thing, Laurine, like I feel like I'm pretty good at calling things in. Like I always say, like you're a match for your vibration. My vibration tends to be decently, you know, okay. And so things work out. But here's the thing. I have invested a decent amount of time and resources into various manifestation courses, books, all the things. And what's interesting is that I don't do the action pieces. I learn it, I consume it, but I'm not following through. And that's a huge awareness in my own life with a lot of other things that I've really worked through. And I am, and I don't know how this is going to evolve, but I'm going to start in some way, like talking about this and sharing my journey. I don't know if in real time, but I want to document it because I think it's important. And if for nothing else, it's for me. But one of the things that I'm realizing, and I think the reason why my manifestations are maybe, let's say, capping, you know, is we manifest from our subconscious, right? So I can say, oh, I have all these affirmations. Oh, I've raised my vibration. And I can have a vision board. I can do these audios, all these things, which are great. But what are those limiting beliefs that are blocking, you know? And I think you can't, it's been huge. So I'm specifically looking at because I was raised in a very, I would say probably upper middle class family. Maybe to some it would be upper class. Um, but there was a cap and money always came from the family. So like my dad worked, his family had a bank, so he ran the bank, right? So it was like money came from the family. For myself, I had, funds that were given to me. Money came from the family. Now, I make money doing coaching and the things that I do, which is great. But I'm noticing how it's at a cap to where almost probably where my dad's income was, and there's no busting through that. And I find this fascinating. And so I'm looking at how to reconstruct that, and then all the ways, all the things that I was like, what was told to me and like what I absorbed that were harmless, but like true. And I'm thinking, so with my dad's family, they had, a decent amount of money, and the females would get like fancy cars, they would wreck them, they'd get another fancy car, right? And I can remember being in high school and my mom saying, "You will never be a Scott." But I am a Scott. But I am a Scott. You know what I mean? Like, and it was all around like how they used money. And the thing is, what's limiting about that is that you I'm not that. I have different parents. I am a different person. There are all these things. And so I'm looking at the ways where that it's a negative connotation around like, oh, okay, well, if you have, more than two cars, then that's too much. You're now gone into that limiting that you're now a Scott. So it's kind of like I'm deconstructing. I'm looking at that like, because now I'm like, oh, okay, I see. The other thing is, I'll tell you real quick and then we'll go, because this just happened. Like a couple days ago, my mom was over and she was helping me with something with some of my decorations. And she has, ever since I was a kid, she's always said this to me. And she'll say, easy come, easy go, like money. Like, oh, because she's like, how much you spend on all this stuff? I said, I don't know. And I told her, and she's like, oh my, easy come, easy go. And I came inside and I took my little insight notebook and I wrote that down, because here's the thing. I took that on as easy come, easy go. It's like, oof, right? But like, no, easy come, easy go. Like money wants to flow. Like that's not a bad thing. So that's kind of what I'm like really looking at and like trying to understand and work through, like unraveling that so I can like get to a place where I'm clean and clear for also for my own healing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Taking on patterns that I don't want, all those things. But that's kind of that's in the moment what I'm doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Easy come certainly can be flow.
It is flow. That's the thing. Like when she said it, it hit. And I think and this is good for people to know. I think once you start to be like, okay, I'm up to looking at this. I'm up to deconstructing this. The things that you hear all the time, it hits your body in a way where you're like, oh, this may be something. Like enough that I came inside and wrote it down. Like, okay. But yes, like, and so then it's like simply like a rewrite. And maybe, oh my gosh, maybe it's really that easy, because I'm making up how hard it's going to be going through my subconscious. Like, what's my subconscious? How do I get to it? But maybe it's really as easy as like it hits the body and you're like, oh, and then it's the reframe of, wait a second. That's not even, what does that even mean? That was her perception. That can be her perception. She can take that and do what she wants. But I want it to be easy come, easy go. I want ease. I want flow. Right?
Yes. And I have always had the awareness that awareness is the key, because if you're not aware, things will just chug along as they are. But as soon as you're aware, that is the click and the aha you mentioned early in the podcast, when you have that aha. So you use tools, I'm gathering, when you say you heard something, your body even had a reaction that you're attuned to, paying attention to your body, and then you wrote it down. So is this your way of reminding yourself this is something I can work on? Or how do you use this tool of writing things down?
Well, to be honest, normally, like that's when it was a big insight that I was like, I need to remember this, because that would not be part of my practice. Normally, I'll see it. Like the other day, I was talking to a friend and we were talking about like you don't want to be a Scot. I knew I was going to remember that. It didn't feel like it's there. But so if it hits my body like that hard, and I knew I wasn't in a place, it would be different if I was by myself on the phone or something, you know, like, but I knew there was a lot going on. So I needed to come in and write it down. I don't necessarily have a practice. I will say I trust my intuition. I trust my body. I try to honor that. And so, and I also know, and like, I guess the understanding that I have with my intuition is that if life happens and I forget this, bring it back to me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, let me hear it 2 or 3 times and then I got it.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
You know, my friend, you have really grown to be such an enlightened person. You really are, and you've worked at it. It's admirable, and it's I'm admiring it greatly. How do you stay grounded?
Well, so I want to say something real quick. I want to come back to how do I stay grounded, but it's interesting, right? Because even like the working at it, like I don't think it has to be a lot of work. Like when you are you, there's not a lot of work.
It's true.
Like, you know, like, yes, there are things that I don't want to like doom scroll. I have to catch myself, you know, like, sure, there's discipline, but like when you've got you and like, you know who you are, like there's freedom in that to where I'm on this journey, you know, like, so I just want to say that. How do I stay grounded? You know, I'll tell you the truth is that like that interconnection is the thing. And I often say, so my life, I have lived by myself, you know, like I've lived all over, and it's always very easy, to be honest, to like spend time at the beach, to go outside, like be in my own energy, you know, like, and now I share my life with someone who I deeply love. He is the, you know, truly the most unexpected blessing of this lifetime for me. And so it's interesting to like sort of have where I'm back in the greater New Orleans area, which is where I grew up. And like, it was a practice to try to get to like, okay, how do I not lose me? You know? And I think the answer is that sense of grounded, I would say like embodied in the truth of who I am. And like I said before, when things are glitching, pause. Okay, what's needed in this moment? You know, do I just need to just be by myself for a minute? Take a few deep breaths? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to go for a walk? Like I sort of have these things where I can come back to me. And because I've been doing this for quite some time, it's a quicker transition, you know, but it's like, it's really just that inner connection and feeling that. And like, just, you know, feeling something we talked about, like joy, like feeling joy and just so lit up. Like that brings me back to like, all of this stuff is so made up. Like it's not even real. You know what I mean? Like, no, like my soul, like it's just our soul are here with the trees and the wind and the sun. And, you know, like, and that brings me back to center. And then I can fill myself up and then I can go about and go have lunch with friends, go do all the things that we do in this like little world, you know? But I fill up my tank, you know.
And what kinds of things bring you joy? I think I'm seeing some of them, but it's always good for people to be thinking about and aware. Let's go back to that word, aware of what brings you joy, because then you can take those action steps.
1,000%. You know, I was thinking about this because something I used to say all the time was back when I was living in Virginia Beach, which was several years ago, and I would have a little container and I would write all the things that brought me joy, little things, you know, it could be little things, big things, whatever, right? Going to sit on the beach, doing this, doing that. So I would have this. And if ever I wanted it, I would pull it out and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to go do.
Nice.
There are a lot of things that bring me joy. There are tons of things that bring me joy. This brings me joy. Like having these conversations, being able to use my voice, being able to be like, what am I uncovering? You know, like doing the inner work brings me, I know not everyone, brings me immense joy, right? Like laughing with friends brings me joy. Spending time with my niece brings me joy. Laying under the trees brings me joy. There's a lot. with that being said, once you build the practice of it, it then becomes an embodiment. And I think I've finally hit the place where it's like, I can just take a deep breath and just feel lit up and feel joy. And I think that that's what I would share for others is like, you build it, find the things, what brings you joy, find that, do more of that until it becomes second nature. And that doesn't mean, I want to look at the time, that doesn't mean that there aren't curveballs, that there aren't challenges. It's like a yes and. It's like, okay, this isn't going, but I know how to pretty quickly shift my energy where both could be happening. This thing could be still going on, and I can still go fill myself up and feel that. So then it's like it's coexisting. And I think that's because I know we're at time, like that would be what I would even share with people is that is the lesson. Like, don't push away the challenge. Don't push away the obstacle, right? Like, don't stay in that vibration. Know that that's happening. Why is this happening? What's needed, right? Like addressing it, but also saying, I can still like go take a deep breath and go for a walk or dance and, like get in my body and feel joy and embody that joy. And to me, as a soul, that's what, I mean, y'all, like that's why we're just here to learn, to grow, and to like feel that and not take things so seriously, like everything's gonna be okay. Like we're just I love it. I love the energy of the soul. Like I see our souls like dancing and like it's like we're here. Let's talk about this. Who's watching this? Like what's lighting you up? Like and again, that does not mean that there aren't challenges. Of course there are challenges. But why is this happening? Okay, it's happening for me. What do I need to learn? What is this here? And how can I raise my vibration simultaneously? So that way it's the yes and energy,
Absolutely.
My final.
Time. So I'm like, I know y'all said, what's your one takeaway? I'm like, all right, land the plane, Mel.
I was going to say the last question was going to be, you want to share a wisdom, a little nugget of wisdom. I'm like, I think we covered that.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, it's like, I would say tune in, get to know yourself. The most important thing you can do, and feel joy, experience joy, share the joy. Like,
share the joy. Beautiful.
I don't know that there's
anything more. I was going to say, you just seem like you come up with so many beautiful little mantras. Do you have a favorite mantra? Because you're just spewing them out.
I know I have so many, honestly. But the biggest thing I say, like, is I've been trying to use the word certainty. I've been studying a lot around the energy of certainty and what that means. So I am certain everything is always working out in my favor. The better it gets, the best is yet to come. Like all is well. Like life is happening for me. Like, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. Like it's like, and I feel that. I've said it so much. I see it. Again, that does not mean there are certain things that I'm like, with a business deal that I'm like, when is this going to go through? It may not, but then it's like, it may not. But you know what? I feel great and lit up, and I know this is happening in my favor. I know this is happening in my favor. And what else? What else you want? You want me to go do around town with Mel? All right, let's go. That's bringing me joy. So I'm going to do it. I don't know where it's going to lead, but I'm answering the call. I'm saying yes, and I'm having fun. And I think it's that energy,
One of the phrases that I didn't need to write down either because of how it hit me when I heard it, and it just went so deeply resonant, was the universe wants to conspire on your behalf. And it's just a matter of us saying, yes, thank you. Open the doors. I'm ready. And that awareness that whatever is going on around us, that we are supported and things can come in a timely fashion or supportive fashion, that yes, and goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
It's a very good reminder.
Yeah. And I think in terms of going back to like the work would be like catching the ways where that subconscious is what's holding it back. Because I just heard something real quick, and he said, think about all your, like what you're wanting most in your life. Like make that list, all the things, like what do you want most? God, universe, source, that's only a fraction of what it wants for you.
Exactly.
Like, let me just get out. My prayer is, let me just get out of my own way. Like, get out of your own way.
It's
Easy
true.
come, easy go.
Yeah, we don't know what the storehouses are.
Right.
Be receptive.
Yeah. Yes. Receptive. Yeah.
Oh my
Melanie, you're
goodness.
the best. You're the best, Melanie. Thank you so much for being on our little podcast. And
I
thanks.
appreciate this. This was great. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been. I agree with you. This is what joy is. Thank you so much for sharing some joy with us today that we can ripple out to others.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again. Take
Thanks.
care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Being on the next one.